I know what you're thinking. Is this the booth, drafting the circuits, three-way theater, or the Kevin Jackson show? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kinda lost track myself here on Whobazoo.com. So, do you feel lucky, punk?
Oscar Mike Radio. Come in, Oscar Mike Radio.
Sinister One, this is Oscar Mike. I have you, Lima Charlie, over.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land or sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Today is September 1st, 2016, and this is Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. And yes, I'm broadcasting from Brockton, Massachusetts, the city of champions. Here we go. I'm going to start today, like I usually start, with the question of the week. And the question of the week comes from Jill S. in Savannah, Georgia. Thank you for listening, Jill. The question of the week is, when does your show come on, and how can I listen to it? That's two questions. The answer to the question is, this show streams at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday on a site called whobazoo.com/radio. That's WHOOBAZOO.com/radio. And if I am otherwise free, I will be on the live chat while the show is on, so you can ask me questions or, I don't know, have fun. Then the next day, Friday morning, I upload the same episode into SoundCloud.com, and I then post that episode on Facebook. Thereby, you can get it on your phone or computer, or you can listen to it live. I like the Whobazoo.com idea. It worked really well for some of the episodes, and I'm looking forward to continuing that partnership with them. They've been very helpful with Oscar Mike Radio. So now it's time for the word. As we say in the military, what's the word? And the word is past. And I'm going to very briefly talk about the Colin Kaepernick I won't stand for the national anthem deal, because looking at all the social media feeds, the news stories, the papers, the online blogs, everybody's up in arms over Colin Kaepernick's refusal to stand for the national anthem. And what does that mean? Well, to me, honestly, it doesn't mean a whole lot. I served in the military, I served in the Marine Corps, and I feel that it's his right. I served to defend his right to be able to do that. I don't agree with what he did. I don't find it honorable or in good taste or a sign of good breeding. Myself, I don't feel that way at all. However, am I traumatized by it? Am I put out by it? Nah, not really. I could honestly almost care less. And so I want to discuss why that is. Why, when so many people are weighing in on this as a primetime national issue, do I not really care that much? And so my answers fall into these categories. One, we have other problems to deal with in our country. Two, as a veteran, I really don't want to give this guy any more free press to, espouse his platform than possible. And three, there are so many other people who are doing good things, either, civilians doing good things in general for America or their community or their family, active duty service members doing good things for their community and their nation, veterans doing things for other veterans, active duty service members, their family, that to talk about one guy who at best is a has-been quarterback and quite possibly has played his last season in the NFL, to give him any more time than absolutely necessary, to me, is just not a good thing to do. He chose to sit down for the national anthem. I don't like it, but it doesn't really affect me or what I'm trying to do in terms of me going about my day-to-day life, me working with Oscar Mike Radio, me being an advocate for active duty service members and veterans and the families that support them. Because my main issue is, what's really important here? Is this a true issue that Colin Kaepernick is raising? There's certainly injustice in this country, absolutely. There's certainly, people that have and continue to be mistreated, absolutely. But is this country, I don't even know how to say this, because you go to other countries and you see how they do things, and you travel around a little bit and you realize, yes, America has our problems, and no, we are not perfect, but we do a lot of things right. And I still believe that if you want to succeed in this country, regardless of the color of your skin, there's opportunity for you to do so. So what's the real issue here? Instead of sitting on a bench during the singing of the national anthem, I would have liked to have seen, Colin make a statement outside of football about what he felt about the state of relations in the United States. I would have liked to have seen him take some of his many millions of dollars. That's right, folks. He gets paid millions of dollars to throw a compressed bag of air down a field to a moving target. When I boil it all down, that's his contribution to humanity. He throws a bag of compressed air on a grass field to another man who's running. He's not a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a teacher, a construction worker building something. He throws a compressed bag of air. So I would have liked to have seen him maybe go outside of that venue and do something to raise awareness for his belief in a different field other than football. Now, maybe he thought that he would get more attention doing it this way, and he certainly did. But is it effective? Do I really want to rally to his cause? Do I want to sit here on Oscar Mike Radio and, advocate that we should follow Mr. Kaepernick's example for, advocacy for race relations or how to treat my fellow man? Like I said, I really don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good thing to do, again, but it doesn't really bother me. And it certainly has not made me want to do anything more than what I'm doing right now. I feel in some ways that the person who is, volunteering to teach music, volunteering to do, Little League Baseball, any number of things, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, has more of an impact on people's lives than what this man did. So I almost think that this is a distraction from bigger issues that we have in this country. Certainly issues from the fact that a couple days before we heard on the radio and on the newspapers where the veteran committed suicide after going to the VA multiple times for help and couldn't get it. That to me is a problem that I would like to see solved. That's a problem that needs more attention. The people that work with these veterans, and not just veterans either, but also people who are in that bad place in their life where they think suicide is the only answer, those are the people that I would like to see, raised up and have awareness on the work they're doing more than, once again, a man who throws a compressed bag of air to another man running down a grass field. Those people who do these kinds of things deserve more attention than that man does. And that man could have made a much stronger statement by supporting something, like suicide awareness, anything like that, than what he did. So that's really all I want to say about the Colin Kaepernick deal. I will never advocate that you sit down during the national anthem. I won't do that. Will I say that you have the right and the duty to protest injustice and inequality against your fellow man whenever you see fit? Absolutely. If you feel that strongly about a certain cause that is affecting other people or yourself, and you want to raise awareness through protest, you have a civil obligation to do so. It's what this country was founded on. But I think you need to look in the mirror and make sure that what you're doing is going to actually get something done versus just generating Twitter and news headlines. And that's how I feel about that. So that's the first part of my word I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to spend the rest of the time kind of talking about some topics coming down the line and why I'm going to talk about them over the next couple of episodes. The first one is about a guy named Jody. Now, for you civilians out there, Jody is a very real thing for us guys in the military. Jody is commonly referred to as a guy who, sleeps with your girlfriend or wife while you're on a boat 6,000 miles away from home for 6 months. Jody is the man in certain cases that your children will call daddy when you've been gone for 6 to 8, 9 months out of the year. So Jody's a very real thing. Jody's a very real problem. And there have been some stories in the news about, Jody, if you will, and what happens when people deal with Jody. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about some of the other things that are going on with the military, like the F-35. I have some questions around, why we need an aircraft like that when it seems like no other nation is really pouring the money into building something like this and where that money can be spent. I want to talk about the A-10. The A-10 is, for you Air Force types and people who are military buffs, it has to be one of the most effective close air support aircraft ever designed. The A-10, my first experience with A-10s was in Bossier City, Louisiana. I went to the air show there, and I saw this airplane with this like shark mouth paint on the side and this big can sticking out of it, and it was this ugly thing. It wasn't beautiful at all, but it made an impression upon me that this thing was mean, ugly, and nasty, and it certainly over the many years it's been in service proven itself, and the Air Force would like to retire it, but there's many people in the infantry community of all branches and the Air Force guys and women who fly these things that feel differently, and so I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm always looking for people that are doing things for active duty and veterans that normally wouldn't get the kind of attention and accolades that I feel they deserve. They're just quietly doing their thing in the background, not really looking for, medals or awards or praise. They found something that they wanted to do. They got good at what they were doing and started providing that service or product to active duty or veterans. And they may not have served themselves, but they feel very strongly about, continuing that. And they do this in silence a lot of times. And so I'm finding out that the longer I do this, there are people coming out of the woodwork of things that they have to, not really have to, but things that they want to talk about, things that they want to share with other people. And I'm happy to tell that story. And I'm happy to talk to these people and learn about their lives and how that they, do these things. Because, for me and a lot of us out there, whether you're doing something volunteer-wise or not, just, getting up, going to work, working, coming home, being a husband, father, mother, sister, brother, parent, and doing all that is enough to, make someone tired. It does me. Not to mention that you find the time to do other things. And I'm not saying anything against someone who doesn't volunteer. I'm not saying that at all. But, there's something about these kind of people that I want to explore further. I want to get to know them, and I want to be able to talk about them and share their story with you. So that's kind of the why I'm doing it there. And then I really want to, over the next couple of months, really try to get a hold of some civilians who either have people that have been deployed and they have dealt with issues from family members being deployed. It could be a son or daughter, or, that soldier, sailor, Marine, Coast Guard, Army person came back from the military and they had, challenges to face, and that person, was there for them. I want to talk about those people. These people to me are, the kind of people that, again, slave away and work and toil in silence, many times alone, without a lot of resources there to help them out. But they do it. They do it because they love doing it. They do it because they love their family member. And they provide their knowledge and understanding to other people going through the same thing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot coming down the pike, if you will, on Oscar Mike Radio. I appreciate the good ideas that I'm getting from people who listen. I appreciate the critiques. And again, we're going to have fun doing it. So that's the other half of the word. And so now we're going to move into one of my favorite sections of Oscar Mike Radio, and that is Pogue and Grunt's Complaint of the Week. And remember, folks, Pogue and Grunt are not happy unless they're complaining. And this week, Grunt was complaining again about motorcycles on bases and how motorcycles get a bad rap with commanders, and there's all these rules and stuff. Now, I had to listen to what he had to say because, he rides and I ride, and I've ridden for a long time, and he's ridden for not as long, but, he loves his bike, and he was all fired up about this. And so, there's no question that us military guys love our motorcycles. You go to any base, and they're everywhere. Cruisers, rockets, classic, inline fours, you name it. There's every type of motorcycle for every type of rider there. And, a lot of us like going fast. It's the only way we can get some freedom from somebody telling us what to do all the time when you're in active duty. It's a great thing. Now, however, you put a 20-year-old young man on a motorcycle with no oversight, no rules, there's a potential for all kinds of stupidness to happen. It's just the nature of the game. And so base commanders have taken a very proactive view in to try to reduce the risk to their, soldiers, sailors, Marines, and, naval personnel. They don't want them getting hurt or killed in these things. They can't outright ban them, although they've tried, but they also understand that for a lot of them, it's their only way to and from work and how to get around. So when I was in, and from what I understand, this is still policy on a lot of the bigger bases, is when I brought my motorcycle into base, I had to register it at the military police, and they sent a letter to my commanding officer saying that this guy has a motorcycle and we need to get him signed up for the base motorcycle safety course. And one of the great benefits of me being in the Marine Corps was I got to take my MSF level 1 and advanced course for free. I wasn't even charged leave for it. I was just told to get my helmet, protective gear, and show up at this spot and I was going to be taught how to ride a motorcycle, which I thought was kind of crazy because I'd ridden for like 5 years beforehand. But I'm like, okay. And I took the course. I learned, more than I knew before. The guy teaching the course was a staff sergeant, active duty. He had taken the training to become a motorcycle safety expert trainer, and really it was a fun, 8 hours. Each day was 4 hours. And it was a fun 8 hours. And so, as long as, your commanding officers are willing to make that kind of commitment to your safety, you really can't complain. Even though Grunt did, he's not very happy about having to do all this stuff. But I'm like, hey, you get to learn how to do different things with your bike. I took my, little Honda 1100 Shadow, and we got up to 40 miles an hour. Then I hit the brakes and learned how to, what the bike was going to do when I braked real fast. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't a bad thing at all. And as long as your commanders are willing to do that for you, then if they make you wear the road guard vest and the pants and the gloves, so on and so forth, I say there's a lot worse things you can do with your time than follow the rules. And I always believe since then, learning what I learned in that course, that you have to dress for the slide, not for the ride, and rubber down. So Grunt, I hear your complaint. I know you're happy complaining, but in this case, I got to side with the brass. And that is the complaint of the week. And now for the unit shout out. I was watching the news and I read about this story where these naval officers who were in subclass got wind of this 98-year-old World War II veteran who was living all alone. And it's a very cool story. August 24th, they all transported to his place, marched up to his front yard, and in formation sang the naval hymn, Anchors Aweigh. And you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on any other news outlet out there, but I'm like, so many times you hear about how this person or that person messed up in uniform and did something wrong. It's a feel-good story, and they didn't have to do that. I mean, when you're in, training school, I don't care if you're an officer or enlisted, every second of every day is measured out, and you have things you have to do, all the time. Even on weekend liberty, there's stuff going on. You've got to serve duty, you got to, do field day, you got to prepare your uniform, study, on. Well, these people, I think like 20 or 30 of them took the time out of their day to go to this guy's house and sing Anchors Aweigh for a 98-year-old World War II veteran. And I think that gets a big, Oscar Mike shout out for this week. So that is a shout out of the week. That's kind of my show for this week. Upcoming, we have a lot of good things coming down the way. Again, check out all the social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Google+, and the blog follow-up on my WordPress site, oscarmikesite.wordpress.com. And again, thank you for listening, and I will be here again this time next week. Oscar Mike out.
Oscar Mike Radio, over and out.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land or sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Oscar Mike Radio, do you copy?
Since the one actual, I have you 5x5.
Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam, until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home.
Oscar Mike Radio is en route.
Copy that, Sinister One. coming at you from the City of Champions, Brockton, Massachusetts.
We're always ready for the call, we place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto, too so true. We're always ready, do or die. I Coast Guard, we fight for you. First we fight for the right and to make the nation fly, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off your cadence loud and strong, for where'er we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Come in, Oscar Mike Radio.
Oscar Mike Radio, veteran in action, on the move, on mission, always.
Off we go.